I became very focused on creating wealth, and I limited my impulses that were interfering with my success. Since 1981, Justin has been producing world-class Bordeaux-style wines from Paso Robles on California's Central Coast. As the pioneer of Paso, Justin wines are what put Paso Robles on the winemaking map. The Justin team believes that wine should be exceptional from every angle, which is why their team uses boutique winemaking practices like hand harvesting and hand sorting. With a rich history of accolades, Justin produces exceptional wines and is proud to be America's #1 luxury Cabernet. Whether you're the first-time wine drinker or a wine aficionado, Justin has a wine for every celebration and occasion. Visit justinwine.com and enter promo code Playbook20 for 20% off your order. Justin offers the perfect holiday gifts for clients, colleagues, friends, or family. Be sure to check them out at justinwine.com to receive 20% off your order for a limited time and use the promo code Playbook20.
Our guest today is David Meltzer. I say entrepreneur, beyond the secret, now reality television star. David, we could talk hours, but I appreciate you coming on and, with your busy schedule and your success. As we were kind of talking about where you were 13 years ago from today when you were in the sports game a lot, but I'm sure you still are, to your rise to now today. Can you imagine? 13 years ago was the last time you were on my show.
It's so cool because I was just recently appointed the chairman of Napoleon Hill Institute, and Napoleon Hill went around funded by Carnegie to interview all the biggest entrepreneurial celebrities in the world. And between the two of us, I think we've interviewed over 20,000 in those 10 years, over 20,000 of the best billionaires, millionaires, entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes, and entertainers. And so I see that, Neil, you and I are kind of the modern day Napoleon Hill, and there's some congruency between what I'm doing with the Napoleon Hill Institute and the lessons learned from the mistakes or the dummy tax that's been paid by so many of those successful people.
100%. Now, I look at the studies of the specific people that went and bought certain press or went ahead and did certain things. My net worth for my show of my, I guess, Rolodex of people I can reach out to is so huge. Someday I'll monetize it seriously, but it's making a living for me with the entrepreneurial ventures I've done and things like that. But again, I'm just still going. That's the process. Look how long it took to Napoleon Hill made money, right?
Yeah, exactly. And he wishes he was making the money that we make off of him today. It's interesting because there's three components that a lot of people don't realize, Greg, Neil, and myself. And it's one, how much value there is in the experience of interviewing all these people. Two, the actual business development and opportunities and options that are available to those people that do that many interviews consistently. And then more recently, since we met, Neil, is the value of the post-production content. So when we met on your syndicated radio show and when I had mine before Gary Vaynerchuk convinced me that radio was not where I should be, podcasting was, it's the post-production content that becomes even more valuable than the distribution, the live distribution of what you do.
100%. You create so much content in so many ways. Do it for so many of my clients. Go ahead, Greg, with your first question.
That's pretty interesting. Think and Grow Rich. When's the last time you read that, Neil?
I've listened to it in audiobook of sleeping. So I know I've listened a lot of stuff in Napoleon Hill, law of attraction rooms and Clubhouse with
very, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, that's a January read every year. You got to do that. Phenomenal book. Opens your mind. You'll start seeing stuff you had never seen before. Understanding things as you get older. When I read it when I was in my 20s, I understand a lot more now than I did back then. And it's just expansive. It's an amazing book to really grow with. But David, how would you guide entrepreneurs today in the use of technology and specifically AI?
Great question. So I've been into technology since 1992. In fact, Lee Steinberg hired me not because I was a great lawyer or a great sports agent. Lee Steinberg is the one they based the movie Jerry Maguire off of, where I met Warren Moon, who he represented and later started Sports One Marketing. But it was interesting because I've been in the pre-chasm technology space for, and I'm getting old, 32 years, coming on 33. And what I found about all technology, but especially AI, it gets you from 0 to 1 faster than anything else. But it's human beings that get you from 1 to 100. And I see AI as making humans more human. Of course, there's always the naysayers. I give you an example, guys. Justice Scalia, back in 1993, when I presented Westlaw on a DOS platform, XT computer on a luggage cart to the Supreme Court, he told me after he saw Westlaw, nobody will ever do research on a computer. You need books. Now, that's what computers are for, is research. And it just, I see the same thing with AI. I tell people all the time, brother, a hammer will build you a house, but it also will bust it down. So, don't tell me AI is going to break your whole house down. It will build the house from 0 to 1. You still got to decorate it, paint it, put up the pictures in the studio for your podcast. But from 0 to 1, nothing's more powerful ever been created on earth. And 0 to 1 takes more time than 1 to 100. So thank God for AI, and thank God for it making humans more human.
And it's also really gets people to go to really step it off the box, look at higher order thinking skills, things that they're not teaching in school today. I'm a former school teacher, and we try to teach the Bloom's taxonomies and stuff and really teach higher order thinking skills. You need this now with AI, and hopefully schools are seeing this. Everyone's abandoning it, but you're right, that 0 to 1 is so important. But ultimately, at the end of the day, people are not going to be paid for an idea. They're going to be paid for implementation, strategy, putting together the team, doing all those different things.
It's so smart. And remember this, Einstein said you can't solve a problem in the same consciousness that it was created. So I could take a problem and say, hey, can you figure this out as if I was Greg Hanna? And right. And then it would give me a different consciousness to the problem.
No, that's interesting. You can teach context and so on. It's very cool. But David, what's your why? If you could sum up what you want to leave behind as your legacy in one concept, what would that be?
Oh, consistency and kindness. So, and they're tied together. My superpower is consistency. Neil, you doing 20,000 interviews between us, that doesn't happen unless you're a freak of nature when it comes to consistency. So I am consistently kind, not just kind to people today, but kind to my future self. And it's a concept that I've utilized in order to facilitate fulfillment, passion, purpose, and profitability, to think beyond today, beyond the scarcity and selfishness that exists in the world. And I am very consistent about being kind.
Now, I'm going to jump to something that all entrepreneurs don't like the story of: hitting rock bottom. It happened to you at one point in time too, or had a loss.
Yes.
I think a lot of times, I know you were in Beyond the Secret, and you definitely practice the law of attraction in life. But ultimately, what happens when you hit that rock bottom? You think you've attracted it, or is it ultimately part of our whole mission to get to a certain place? We have to have this change, this really hit knockout punch that knocks us on the ground to get up to have the great success that you've had, that hopefully at one point I can attain with when I've gotten hit in that, as an entrepreneur and knocked out a few times.
It's so interesting because I did lose over $100 million and go bankrupt. And I tell people all the time that my paradigm shifted from always wanting more to looking within and realizing who I am. So instead of getting more happy, more healthy, more wealthy, and more worthy, I started to look at things in a different direction of I am healthy, I am happy, I am wealthy. What am I doing to interfere with it? And in the context of utilization of wisdom and faith to shorten that distance, because those are the two components that I seek in life: wisdom and faith, that there's something bigger than me that protects me, promotes me, loves me, and perfects me. Pain being an indicator of that, but my purpose needs to be greater than the pain or I'll end up quitting. And so for me, in this journey of understanding how to shorten the distance of resistance and seek the wisdom and the faith that's necessary to get to where I want to be, I find that there's three things, not just what did I do to attract this to myself and what am I supposed to learn from it, but what did I do to be responsible for this and what am I supposed to learn from it? And then finally, in the context of either Think and Grow Rich or Outwitting the Devil, or a little bit even of maybe How to Sell Through Life, which is a lesser known context of Napoleon Hill. What am I doing to participate in this perception? And what am I supposed to learn from it? And so if you look at Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, we start to realize that in these difficult, challenging times, pain will indicate that we have a lesson to learn. And it's the meaning that we give the event, circumstance, shortage, void, obstacle, mistake, even success or defining moment or historical relevance that actually can propel us, protect us, and perfect us in a divine direction. So the transformation of the detour comes from a punishment to protection, promotion, and perfection. And unless we have that resistance of a meaning of punishment, the more successful we're going to be.
That's very, very insightful. And, along those same lines, during your toughest moment there or moments, there must have been, a single lesson that you've learned. And what was that lesson and how do you apply it day to day?
Well, it is that paradigm shift. I had to go tell my mom. Only reason I wanted to be rich, guys, was I grew up with six kids and a single mom, and I just wanted to buy her a house. So when I had to go tell my mom that I lost everything, including because I didn't take my name off her title. That was the basement of the basements. And my mom's response is what changed my life in the greatest lesson because I told my mom, why am I being punished? I was crying at her door. She wasn't fazed at all. She had unconditional love in her heart, in her words, in her eyes towards me. Kept on telling me, are you okay? Do you need any money? I'm like, are you listening to me? You gotta move, mom. I effed this up really bad. And I told her while I was there that I don't understand why I was being punished when all I tried to do was good things. Why would I be punished like this? I don't believe in God. And my mom said to me, oh, sweetheart, you believe in God. You just believe in the wrong God. And when I shifted my paradigm that money would not buy me love, happiness, or be above me, but to put the money below my feet and to know that it was there to shop and that my job was to shop for the right things for the right reasons, then I found something bigger than me, an omniscient, all powerful, all knowing source, a God that protects, promotes, and loves me more than my mom. And that faith, combined with the wisdom that I always sought, has created an unbelievable momentum in my life, aggregation of what I want, acceleration of it coming to and through me, and exponentiality of outcomes that causes extraordinary successes in my life.
Wow. So let's talk about that rock bottom moment. How did you get back? Like, tell us the story how you got back from that. Like, how did you turn it around to where you are now?
Well, first, I give most of the credit to my wife. I always say that behind every amazing man is an even more amazing woman and an amazed woman that you actually could do it. And so I have an amazing wife who helped guide me and indicate to me the wrong people and the wrong ideas in my life that were interfering with the potential that I had. She told me to take stock in who I was and what I wanted to become. And she held me to a higher standard, being honest and repetitive, but not giving up on me as long as I would try. I have one of the few wives in the world that didn't say, if I catch you drinking one more time, I'm going to divorce you. I'm leaving you. If I catch you doing this, it was more, hey, look, I know you have this potential. As long as you do your best every day, learn lessons and not be negative, be positive towards it, have fun with all of this. I'm going to stick by you and I'll guide you to where you need to be or better. And so for me, my inspiration was my wife. And Every day I had 5 daily practices that were based off of my values, and I did my best. I learned lessons and had fun. In Napoleon Hill, by the way, I keep bringing up because it's had such an impact on me, and it's such an exciting thing for me and the legacy. But he talks about singularity of focus and control of impulse. And I became very focused on creating wealth, and I limited my impulses that were interfering with my success. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. Therapy is a great tool for facing your fears and finding ways to overcome them, because sometimes the scariest thing is not facing our fears in the first place and holding ourselves back. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/playbook today to get a 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/playbook. Imagine starting a small business, your first customer, first hire, first real paycheck. But everything isn't just exciting, it's scary. That's where JustWorks come in, the all-in-one platform that supports small business growth. Access seamless tools that help with benefits, payroll, HR, and compliance with transparent pricing. It's time to make payroll painless. Run payroll in 90 seconds or less and automate payments so you can set it and forget it. Did you know in 2023 alone, they processed over 25.6 billion in trusted payroll customers? Don't worry about the paperwork piling up either. They take care of payroll tax documents and reporting to help you stay compliant. Visit justworks.com/podcast to join the thousands of small businesses that trust JustWorks to take care of payroll, benefits, compliance, and more. That's justworks.com/podcast.
Let me ask you a question about what we were talking about prior. A lot of people just want to want, right? And they don't enjoy the moment. Like they're on a beach and they're looking at a more beautiful home than they have that might be up on a cliff, instead of, looking out in the Atlantic or the Pacific and enjoying the beauty of nature. It sounds similar to where you said that you were able to shift after you talked to your mom. She said you were focusing or following the wrong God, and you shifted to putting money at your feet as opposed to, pursuing it. How did you make those shifts with what daily? How did you change your thinking?
Great
Maybe you
question.
could tell us about that a little
I
bit.
think the easiest thing that I did beyond really with the singularity of focus of what do I want today according to the circumstances of the day, deriving meaning and lessons from the mistakes, failures, and setbacks in a divine direction. The one thing that I did differently was instead of worrying about the fear part, I spent years in therapy, always seeking like what trauma is causing me to have all these difficulties. And I made it really simple on myself. And this has helped millions of people now today, which was there's an instant and obvious way to help yourself. And the instant and obvious way is the reaction to fear. See, it doesn't matter what we're afraid of, all three of us. Maybe we had childhood trauma, womb trauma, teen trauma, 20s trauma, 30s, 40s, and 50s trauma. It doesn't matter. What really matters is, hey, I'm pissed off, or I'm worried, or I'm anxious, frustrated, guilty, resentful, because that's what's going to interfere and put your energy in the wrong trajectory. So for me, I created this mechanism. One, identify the instant and obvious. When I'm mad, angry, upset, worried, instead of resisting it, trying to out logic energy or analyze energy or go over it, under it, through it, around it, lie to it, cheat it, manipulate it, or deny it, I do something way more difficult. I stop. I breathe through my nose and out through my mouth, and I remind myself, I remember with and recollect with the omniscient and all powerful source that I'm part of, that infinite system of thought. and then I roll in the right trajectory, the divine direction of what's going to make me better today, according to where I want to be, not where other people want to be, not what's missing and not what I don't have, right? There's a huge energy gap with our kids today between I am and this is what I want people to think I am. And that's exacerbated by social media. I live in I am. What am I doing to interfere with it? When I start interfering with I am, I stop because my mind, body, and soul are on fire. You're on fire. Stop, drop, roll back into your divine direction. And I promise you'll achieve all that you can conceive.
I think when we're trying to achieve things that it's not our goal, it's not really what we want, we're not going to move forward any further. So if, I'm doing this for somebody that was my life in the past, and this is the only reason why I want to achieve this, I'm not going to achieve it most of the time. It has to be what it's truly I want to achieve and how I want to do it. And a lot of times we make the mistake of trying to achieve it for somebody else, or somebody else saying, hey, they didn't believe in me. And it causes us to go back to the same old all over again by living in that past.
Yeah, it's so secular in its nature because it's genetically and energetically inherited. And so we do have a thermostat, an energetic thermostat of thought, actions, words, beliefs, and feelings. And we can see that from 4 generations down. I'm sure there's key characteristics. One of the most simple illustrations of this, obviously, is alcoholism. And it's not an accident when you see somebody break the chain of a dis-ease. One of my mentors, Bob Parsons, who founded GoDaddy, exited personally for over $4 billion. One of my favorite interviews, Neil, you'll certainly appreciate this. He tells me during Super Bowl, Dave, if you love what you do, and you can see me on screen roll my eyes like, dude, you're not going to say you'll never work another day in your life. You're so much better than that, Bob. But he didn't. He rocked my world because, Dave, if you love what you do and you learn to love what you don't love and don't like to do, and you learn to love what other people don't love and don't like to do, and you do it every day, Dave, and you do it without quitting, Dave, life will tell you all its secrets. It'll give you its cheat codes. Dave, it'll make life easy, not dis-easy. And what you're talking about is that dis-ease, mental, physical, emotional dis-ease that we take by not knowing what we really want.
Go ahead, Greg, with the next
Uh,
question. I know we're going to
uh,
get into this reality show because it
Yeah.
intrigues me because of all that. So go ahead, Greg.
Yeah. As you want to talk about a reality show, you have a
Yeah.
reality show? I want
Yeah.
to talk about that. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Let's go,
I've
David.
been
How did that
blessed.
happen?
Yeah, I got two great partners. You can see this behind me. This was 2 Minute Drill, our first reality show that was on Bloomberg. It was on Amazon Prime. Now it's on Apple TV. 2 Minute Drill. That's Rory Kataya, the CEO of Verb, and Jason Waller, a huge podcaster, former CEO of a billion-dollar company in the solar space. But there was a problem, and still is. My show there it started. Elevator pitch was like a Dragon's Den or a Shark Tank. We funded people, and you got a minute to get in the elevator. That had a problem because most of the companies didn't get funded because something went wrong, right? Then we have the pitch only show, which is super cool. It's a contest, but you don't really learn about companies because you could pitch your kid eating broccoli and you could win the show. And so Rory Kataya, the CEO of Verb, came to me and said, how about we do a show called Go Fund Yourself? And with our technology and with the new Reg CF types of crowdfunding certifications that are available, we actually could have a show and the crowd could fund the companies. We don't have to, we can, but our job is to bring the best and the worst out of the entrepreneur and learn the most we can for the opportunity and then allow the public to fund the companies. And so we created a really fun show. It's a crowdfunding show. You can also buy the products on market.live, which is a integrated program where you like the mushroom coffee, you can buy the mushroom coffee and invest in the company. It's probably the best reality show for entrepreneurs that I've seen because it allows the true test of the moral majority of investors to buy in either to the product or to the company. And these two clowns behind me are serious characters, especially that Waller guy. It's a true reality show, except for we don't have to script anything. We don't. These guys are absolutely a joy to do business with. Their knowledge is extreme, but their personalities are so big that you'll laugh half of it and then be intrigued and curious about investing or buying the products with the other half of you.
Are these most companies product-based companies that are on the show?
Nope, there's categories that are created. So, they got SaaS, FRAS, DaaS, and MaaS, all types of software solutions and services that are provided. A lot of the companies are even already in the multi-millions of dollars because it is a Reg CF or Reg A filing. There's some substantial companies that come on, some startups as well. But it does have a variance of all types of companies interested in either product services or solutions.
Wow.
Interesting. So
How many
Dave,
seasons has it had so far?
good.
Say again?
How many
Okay.
seasons has it had so far?
This is the very
know,
first season when I
yeah.
wanted to come on. So we're going to be airing in January on Cheddar, and as well on Reach TV. I have a deal with those guys at the airports and hotel rooms. So we're really excited. We are just finishing the editing of the first 12 episodes. 2 Minute Drill, we're on season 7, Office Hours season 8, Entrepreneur, Elevator Pitch season 9. So quite a bit. We Go Fund Yourself is, and I say this humbly because I'm the executive producer of all those shows. I think Go Fund Yourself, as far as the entrepreneurial journey that I'm in, is the best show, the realest show out there, and also it's probably the most fun because there's so much interaction and reality in reality shows. So that's pretty cool.
You're seeing specifically, and I guess what we'll see in this show is so many people come up with businesses out of nowhere, an idea. And that's where AI comes in. They could come up with that idea. Then you have to implement that idea. But so much because the market base is so flooded in certain ways. Are you a fan of more of a blue ocean strategy or red ocean strategy when it comes to marketing and to business or trying to get into the business in the marketplace?
I'm a more red ocean guy, and I joke around because people are like, dude, when did you become such a huge content creator? I'm like, I'm not. I'm a content capturer. I'm extremely contextual in my nature. I have 35 years of pragmatic business experience, a law degree, went to business school, all the different areas. And I think that there are huge creators out there that can utilize blue ocean. I don't have the patience for that. I don't have that end of creativity. But like I said before, I'm extremely consistent and persistent and contextual in my nature. I have a lot of dummy tax that I paid, and I'm cashing in on over $100 million of dummy tax and utilizing it for a successful future, usually in the red ocean, not the blue ocean.
Interesting. That's interesting because a lot of people try to niche to that area, but it's all about consistency, keep going, profitability, and staying open. I
Yeah,
guess
got to stay in business.
you got to stay in business. A lot of times you can come up with this great idea, and guess what? No one wants to buy it because they never put the product to the market. So that's why I find these shows very intriguing, for sure. And we'll talk about it. But Greg has his final question before I ask another question about the show. And this question he asks every entrepreneur when we co-host together. And Greg, it really makes you think, David. So be ready.
Thank you.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. So tell me, David, what do you feel is the most important thing in life you've ever learned?
Ask for help. Um, Man, I wish somebody would have taught or forced me to ask for help. I wouldn't have lost all that money. The easiest and fastest way to get to where you want to be is to ask someone that's already there for directions. And especially with the size, scope, and scale of the accessibility of help, today it's even more important than you had to use the yellow pages when I was young to ask for help. You don't have to use the yellow pages anymore. There's billions of people out there that can help you. I will add that within the context of asking for help, helping somebody else is also the fastest way to get to where you want to be, is to help someone get to where they want to be. So in the context of asking for help, it's a duality that I think is the most important lesson that I've ever learned.
Very cool.
Now, David, I guess multiple shows people can watch. Kind of list them out where how we can find all of them. I'm intrigued by all of them.
Yeah, well, I want to push people towards Go Fund Yourself, but I want to offer your community. I have my original book when we met, Connected to Goodness. I give that away. I will pay for shipping Pay for the book. I'll sign it if you want me to. For your entire community, anyone that wants to learn more about Go Fund Yourself, reach out to me directly, david@dmeltzer.com, or you can Google me, David Meltzer. You'll find me. But I'll be happy to send, sign, pay for shipping in the book. But check out Go Fund Yourself. It is a lot of fun and educational along the way. And you might even make some money by watching the show. If you find a good product, service, or solution that you want to invest in, you can join that crowdfunding escapade as well. Hey guys, we got to get together more often. I know, Neil, you may have one more question for me.
No, I guess the other ones, the other shows, where can we check out those other
Yeah,
seasons?
so
The other shows.
all the other shows are on Apple TV. So you can check out 2 Minute Drill, Office Hours, Entrepreneurs on the elevator pitches on Entrepreneur Network, entrepreneur.com.
All right. We appreciate it, David. It's great stuff. I tell you what, you're right. The people we've interviewed, unbelievable. And Greg, I've interviewed as celebrities, what we've learned from these specific people and learn from these opportunities. And I guess we just keep going. And Napoleon Hill, where can we get involved in that? Because I'm intrigued
Yeah,
by that for sure.
come to NapoleonHillInstitute.com. I think it's very ironic, coincidental that Napoleon Hill has the same initials as somebody on this show who has done over 10,000 interviews. So NHI, the Neil Haley Institute, or is it Napoleon Hill Institute? NHI, check us out. Some of the greatest books ever written. I'm revitalizing and redistributing to the world. Over 500 million books sold by Napoleon Hill. So, the test of time over 100 years has held up. There's something about Think and Grow Rich, Outwitting the Devil, and even Selling Through Life that will change your life. And I certainly appreciate you guys helping me to promote all the things that we have going on. Let's do this more often.
All right. Definitely have you back on again. Appreciate it.
Thank
All
you
right. That
guys.
was a
Thanks,
special
man. Thanks,
simulcast of
Dave.
the Neil Haley Show and celebrity interviews live from the grotto with Greg Hanna. Guys, take care.